So
Hey,
if, like me, you
whoa. Hey, if you're watching the VOD of this, we're gonna go live in about 8 minutes time. Because it's 8 minutes to the time we're about to go live on this VOD. So scrub forward 8 minutes. Do it. Do it now. All right, alien breed music. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. What are you doing? Let's get the show on the road. Good morning. Hello and welcome to the first ever for us editing live stream. How you doing? Got like 3 folks in the chat right now. This is pretty cool. This is replacing, for the next few months anyway, it's replacing the production hangouts, which it was always something that just kind of didn't feel like it was necessarily in the flow of what I was doing. I felt like I was taking time away from work a lot of the time, and the time never worked for a lot of people because I wanted to do them during the week, and obviously you all have jobs, so it makes more sense to do them on the weekends. So I did like doing them, but I thought this might be a interesting other way of sort of trying to do that sort of interactivity while also keeping it sort of on point. So I'm going to edit for about 2 hours this morning on the stream, and I'm going to edit on the GOG project, and I'm going to try and do it essentially as sort of like normally as I usually do this sort of stuff. All of these are available as VODs after the fact as well, so if you're watching this years from now, where I'm a young father who has all his hair is gone and weigh 50 pounds more, then warn me. But I do have the chat open here. So for instance, Nick Ravesh just said, "Hey Danny, hi." I hope I said your name correctly. I have the chat open here pretty much non-stop. So I'm going to work as I do and sort of explain what I'm working on and my process and stuff like that. But I'll also be jumping in the chat and answering questions and stuff as well. It can be editing related. It can be about what I have for breakfast. Like I honestly don't mind. At the moment, I feel like we're going to figure out how this whole thing works together. And the idea behind this is that I would eventually love to get to the point where I do these like fairly regularly for this group of people. Like at most I could say doing it once a week, but that's kind of where I'm going to be targeting a bit. So we'll see what happens. The other thing you'll need to help me out a little bit, because I can't monitor YouTube right now, is how loud everything is. So I think I have it metered pretty good. And the other thing as well on top of that is that I have it set up like this at the moment. Oh, thanks for saving the project, Premiere. Where I just have this, I never use the history tab, so I just pulled it over here and put my camera there. So maybe this will be a good setup. I don't know, maybe it won't be, but we'll figure it out together. I did say all right, awesome. What did I have for breakfast? Asks Nicholas. What did I have for breakfast? I didn't really have much actually. I had I've been on like a diet kick. I've lost 15 pounds since the Fallout documentary. I put on a lot of weight this winter, and it took a while to get back into feeling good and whatever. And then once your mental health is done, then it's back to the body health, and it's like, oh great, I have to lose weight again. Weight has been my problem my entire life, up and down and up and down and up and down. It's been a nightmare. But I've been like since starting NoClip, I feel like it's been harder to do it. But yeah, I've lost quite a bit. I've lost a stone, as we'd say back home in Ireland. So I had a cup of coffee for breakfast. I'm a real morning soda guy. It's really bad, but I'm drinking some Canada Dry Diet ginger ale here. And I had some beef jerky for a snack a few minutes ago, because I've been on a ketogenic diet for about, not long, like about a week. So I'm probably only kicking into it now. My keto flu has passed or whatever. So or maybe it hasn't, but I'm gonna give that a go. I've never done that before. I tried to stay away from fad diets. I use Weight Watchers quite a bit actually, which helps me a bit. But I've been doing this for about a week, and I've been eating really well for about 2 weeks, and I feel like I've actually got way more energy than I have had in forever. I'm feeling like fantastic. I'm feeling like my mood is up. My energy is really high. I'm like going out and exercising because I like need to now. And I get to eat like fucking hamburgers wrapped in lettuce for dinner, so it's pretty good. All right, that was a long answer. Okay, here's the GOG doc. You should be able to hear this. Oh. Can you not hear that? You guys can't hear that, can you? Maybe it's something. Okay. One of I'll try this guy, because this is the maybe most annoying tab in all of Premiere, which is the hardware preferences tab. Right now I have it all set to go to the Focusrite, so that's probably why it's not coming through desktop audio. Maybe this thing only, maybe the desktop audio only picks up the stuff that's coming through the speakers. Would that make sense? I guess it would, wouldn't it? That would make sense. Let me try. I'll try do this again. It used to be you'd have to reset a lot of programs to like change all this sort of stuff, but they've kind of figured out a lot of it. So, oh yeah, look, it's there already. Let me try do the speakers and I'll see if that makes a difference for your guys' end. I can't hear now, which is the thing. But yeah. Let me swap my mics. See if I can hear it now. I won't be able to hear myself regardless. Let me see. I would apologize and say I should have the stream set up perfectly. I thought I actually had. But actually, Premiere is essentially, or like doing these types of streams is an exercise in, I need to kill it for playback, don't I? There we go. Is an exercise in troubleshooting. So
they couldn't be here to work together.
Okay,
together,
that,
and
right?
then we have to have help.
You should be able to hear that now. I can't monitor my own microphone now, so I'm just gonna assume that I'm talking correctly. Okay, so this is the GOG doc. It's coming in at about 43 minutes, including the credits, which are here. And I started doing this. So this is kind of the final day of getting to the what I like to call timeline complete, which is when the A-roll, the interviews, this sort of stuff, and the B-roll, which is like the stuff that goes over the top. The term B-roll is kind of different if you're talking about filming or editing. If you're talking about filming, then it's kind of specific types of shots almost, coverage shots. When it comes to editing, it's a little bit more of a broader term for like anything that's essentially not the main focus, depending on what you're editing and the editing style and all that sort of stuff. So once I've gotten the sort of, I start with the timeline of just the like pulling select, so these interview guys, and then once I'm done with that, I start to write the script, and then I put in these little voiceover segments in the middle. So pretty rough, right? So like
very obvious that you would start from that point.
DRM, or digital rights management.
Right, so I don't even have any like B-roll for this bit. Or good old games. So like it's just, here's some, especially for this doc, which is like, it's not the most complicated story in the world, and essentially it's just a bunch of people telling a story, and I'm kind of jumping in every now and again to rephrase it, which helps me get this particular doc. I kind of want to get finished as early as possible because my wife's pregnant and could pop with a baby kind of any minute, so it seemed like a pretty quick and easy and good way to do this doc. So I start with all the A-roll stuff, which is that, and then I put all these guys in once I've written the script. Then once I'm done with that, then I'm basically going through it chronologically from start to finish, kind of skipping shit if it's a little bit hard, and then going back and just constantly passing through it, putting in B-roll, like going, oh, we need like footage for this game here, or like this footage, I'm using too much of Realms of Arcania, so we should do something else. And while I'm doing that, I have a document open on my other screen, which I'm essentially just writing notes in. And then when I get bored of editing, I shut down Premiere and I open up, whatever game I need capture from. I use Shadowplay, record a bunch of footage of that, or go film something, or just like constantly like keep momentum. Because the problem with these things is these documentaries take forever to put together, and it's all about retaining that momentum. At the end of the day, it's really important to me that I feel like I've done a lot of work. Kind of what form that work takes doesn't matter so much, but just for my like momentum, because the entire project at this stage of the project rests on my shoulders, and my speed is the most important thing to ensuring that it gets done properly. So I'm basically just going through it. So this is the result of about 4 days of proper editing. I was on holidays last week in Rehoboth Beach, and I did I got the interviews timeline complete, just in my downtime, and then on Monday and Tuesday I spent a good time doing the script and putting in the VO, and I'm basically up to about here. I'd say this, what are we, 31 minutes? I'd say this whole section, 0 to 31, is probably 95% complete. The the last thing I start to do is the music. Start to add in the music, which will be interesting on YouTube to see if I get copyright strikes now that and then I'm streaming all this audio network music without I technically don't have licenses for it yet, I guess, because I usually do the licenses an hour before they go live on YouTube, just so I have it all timed up. Because what'll happen a lot of times is like 6 months from now, I get an email from Audio Network saying, oh, there's a copyright flag on this song, like an automated thing from YouTube, and I just have to go back, reference the old where the order, and they give you a YouTube monetization code, which is basically just like a bunch of gobbledygook words that they can, if you post it, they can reference it back to the order, which is pretty crazy. So that's why I kind of buy it really last minute. We got some questions. Are you worried the more screenshots of edit timelines you post, eventually people will be able to decode hot exclusive secret project? Whenever I post anything, Giant Frying Pan, which is a great name, I hope you play PUBG, I'm pretty careful about. A lot of times what I do, because you'll see the screenshots, like they'll have this window here, but they oftentimes won't have this bit up here, which is where the title of the doc is. So also, like, you go out far enough, it's like, what the fuck is that? Also, like, Jeremy's footage is all like we coded a little bit, so it's WARSAW. Warsaw 06. So you can, if you go out, you can probably see it there. By the way, this is what Jeremy gives me. This is the color graded project. So this is everything we shot without color grades. This is how he shot it. We actually don't use this guy in the interview at all. I didn't have time, or didn't have space for it. And we barely use this other guy. Hit this guy. He's in the credits actually. Most of it is just these four gentlemen here. But this is the footage he gives me, and then this is, he puts adjustment layers on everything so I can see what he did. So that's the when it's shot, and that's once it's been color graded. And probably the stuff in downtown Warsaw is the most impressive. It's not usually this fragmented out. I actually made a new project folder for this so I could pull all the footage from our Witcher project in as well. So like that's how that was shot. He brightened up the sort of midtones, got a lot brighter there. I think he brightened up the sky as well, took a little bit of the edge out of that blue. So it wasn't the focal point, so I kind of drifted into the background. You're focusing on the buildings, which is really good because that's some high contrast stuff there. Usually that'd be really nice, but you kind of want to focus on the buildings there. So I use this as like a little, sort of like a tray. What is this? I don't even remember this.
Hello friends, we're shooting B-roll. There are pigeons and lots of tourists, way more tourists than the last time I was here. So that's fun. How you doing?
There you go. You never know what you were filming for.
I'm getting sunburned again for the second time in 2 weeks.
Your face is overexposed. I'm worried about.
We have fun when we're filming B-roll. I think this whole B-roll adventure took like, I think we were in that downtown area for that old town area for like 2 hours. Anyway, so I basically use this as like this is my palette. This is my, what do you call it? When you're mixing your paint and then you go through. I come through on this. And then this is the stuff we specifically have with the GOG stuff. Because if you didn't know, we filmed the GOG stuff at the same time as the Witcher stuff. It was on our last day. This is all the B-roll we have for that. Here's some Marcin Niewinski, said the project's CEO. We have some footage of him sitting down and stuff. He makes a brief appearance in this GOG doc, so we needed to like sort of intro him and stuff like that. Premiere is much louder than me. Okay, let me turn it down a bit.
Often than not, these puzzles
How's that? Is that a good balance?
took years to solve.
I want you to be able to hear it, definitely. I don't want it to be low when I'm not talking. So we'll see. I heard timeline complete in Command & Conquer's voiceover lady voice. Was I recording CNC stuff earlier? I don't think I was. What's up, Nick Ravesh? What's up, Mr. Buttersocks? Okay, let me show you a little bit of the intro. So this project started. Everything starts with the bump. When these are originally done, actually I need to take it off this timeline because that first audio timeline has a bunch of post processes for voiceover. At least I think it does. Yeah, it does. It's got dynamics processing on it. So that's timeline 1, 2, 3, 4. Audio 1, audio 2, audio 3, audio 4. Audio 1, audio 2, audio 3, audio 4. So if I did it on this is for voices. So if I have it on there, it sounds a bit weirder. Like, is what it's supposed to sound like. And if I have it up here, it sounds like it's like a little bit meatier or something. I don't like it. Interesting point. The intro sting for NoClip is actually, it's actually this. It's way quicker, and it doesn't have the documentary thing. So this is the template we use for everything else, and I split it up and then go let it sit there for a while. So when I start a project again, I like to sort of refamiliarize myself with it. So I'm going to watch the intro just to get into the mood.
Today, when we see the word CD Projekt, we think about terrifically Slavic open-world role-playing games. Perhaps we think of a card game, or more often than anything today, a first-person cyberpunk adventure. But these are all the fruits of CD Projekt Red, the development studio founded in 2002. Their parent company, CD Projekt, has been distributing games throughout Poland as far back as 1994. You see, years before CDP started to make games, they sold them. And they sold them in one of the most unforgiving markets on the planet. For decades, the media market in communist Poland was dominated by piracy. In a country with no copyright law to speak of, where people had little money, open-air markets were the most common way to get music, movies, or games. Where cheap knockoffs were sold alongside official boxed copies for a fraction of the price. So when the Iron Curtain finally came down and Poland emerged into capitalism, the market was full of a generation of people who had been conditioned to think that piracy was the norm and official releases were like special editions. It's the knowledge of this consumer behavior that helped CD Projekt beat the pirates. They struck deals with foreign developers to sell games like Ace Ventura and Baldur's Gate. Then they cracked those games open and localized them into Polish. They made special Polish box art and packaged the games with goodies, cloth maps, mouse pads, and much more. They would beat piracy the only way they knew how, not by using DRM, but by making the official boxed copy of the game worth that extra cost. So why am I telling you this? Well, because the spirit of CD Projekt's distribution company would go on to create one of the most powerful forces in games preservation today. A team of people who hunt down the code for forgotten games, who broker deals between companies all around the world, and then break those games apart to recode them to work on modern systems. To many people, GOG.com is just another place to buy games. But today we're going to uncover the incredible work that these people do behind the scenes. Their never-ending mission to bring good old games back from the dead.
That last nested sequence never plays properly because it's this guy here. It's like fucking 8 different videos playing at the same time. Okay, cool. So you might have seen me taking some notes there. So there was a couple of things I wanted to change already when I was watching that. I probably watched that like, I don't know, I finished that yesterday, so I probably watched it like 10 times now and tweaked it a lot. So at 19 seconds, basically the whole way through here, I'm like doing some transitions, like I was originally going to put Warsaw there, but I didn't need. I said it in the video.
Today, when we see the word CD Projekt, we think about...
So most of these are hard cuts. Hard cut, hard cut, hard cut. Here's the first transition, I think.
But
this like grid.
These are all...
Just to give it a little bit of...
Sure. But these are all the fruits of CD Projekt Red.
Because it's transitioning out of gameplay world. Right, we're in like gameplay world, back to this. So at 19, I wanted a transition. Was it 19, really? 119 or 19?
Terrifically Slavic open-world role-playing games. Perhaps we think of a card game, or more often than anything today, a first-person cyberpunk adventure. But these are all the fruits of CD
I don't think it was 19.
Projekt Red, the development studio founded in 2000.
Yes, that was Sensible Soccer.
2002. Their parent company, CD Projekt, has been distributing games throughout Poland as far back as 1994. You see, years before CDP started to make games, they sold them. And they sold them in one of the most unforgiving markets on the planet. For decades, the media market in communist Poland was dominated by piracy. In a country with no copyright law to speak
it off
of,
low.
where people had little money,
we're
open-air
transitioning in
markets
here.
were the most common way to get music, movies, or games. Where cheap knockoffs were sold alongside
There's a little
official
likely
boxed
going on
copies
there, so yeah.
for a fraction of the price. So when the Iron Curtain finally came down and Poland emerged into capitalism, the market was full of
Yeah, I guess it might have been 19 actually. Really? Was it here? This transition here?
perhaps we
Like maybe. I can see it. If I wanted to go into digital, maybe I could do a digital. So I have a little bin of FX over here. These glitches are pretty good. You just drop one in.
perhaps we think of
Yeah, that might work actually. And then what you do is you basically put a screen on it. So you go. Gotta be careful not to hit those. You go. Can I get rid of this panel actually? Yeah, I don't need that. Basically screen this.
perhaps we think of a card games. Perhaps we think of a card game.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that guy works because it's a bit of a weird zoom thing, and also the footage is doing a zoom. No, we don't want that. Digital, something digital. That's a weird one. What else we got? Oops. What about you? You could work. Depends how the screen works, actually. Let's have a look.
Perhaps we think of a card
Yeah.
game.
I probably won't know until I watch this again, like in an hour. So a lot of it is like editing something, moving away from it, and coming back.
Today, when we
Once
see the
again.
word CD Projekt, we think about terrifically Slavic open-world role-playing games. Perhaps we think of a
Giant Fire Bang, that's the really, really close look at a CRT VFX. Yeah, there's lots of these little guys. They're helpful, especially during this intro section where we're like trying to sort of like, because if it was just gameplay after gameplay after gameplay, it'd be boring. You need some sort of like, some of these are pretty zoomed in, for instance. Some of them sort of push in, like this one zooms in. Some of them just have their own dynamic shit going on, like this one's that shot pulls out right away. Some of them, there's just too much shit going on, so like I can't put a VFX on that because the grass already looks like shit. So and Dune, just like leave it off, and then this one's got a lot going on. So we're doing 2 notes ahead. Music is hot, maybe 148.
those games apart extra cost. So why am I telling you this? Well, because the spirit of CD Projekt's
So I can take it down a little bit.
worth that extra cost. So why am I telling you this? Well, because the spirit of CD Projekt's distribution company would go
Feels
on
better.
to create one of the most powerful forces in games preservation today. Systems. To many people, GOG.com is just another place to buy games. But today we're going to uncover the
Okay. And then brightness and contrast on SWAT 4 is what I wrote here. So the SWAT 4 footage here is a little bit hard to see because it's nighttimey, and also because I have this crazy thing on it. I want it to be a little bit. I don't need people to know what game it is, but I want it to be a little bit more legible than that. It just looks a bit muddy. So let's up the brightness and contrast. So I'll up the brightness. We'll see if how that looks. Actually, weirdly enough, that kind of fucks it up because here it's good. Where I was doing it for when you get here. Oh yeah, the lighting in the game changes. This is a flashlight or something. So let me set it for here. God, I almost prefer it the other way. Yeah, that's alright. Okay. A couple of notes. Sure, we'll save it. Hey, what's up, Piggy PH? The one thing I can legit pass out when editing video or podcasts is listening to my own horrible voice. You get used to it. Everyone hates their own voice. I hate my voice too. Some random DOS shit for the intro.
In the early days, like
I'm not mad about this transition. I think that should die first.
in the early days, like
There's a lot happening. The music comes in. Maybe if that cuts before the music transition, if that goes with it. But earlier.
In the early days, like when I joined
Maybe I should film dissolve this actually. I'm not really sure about this. I don't want to film dissolve into something I'm just going to cut away from 2 seconds later.
when I joined this, let's say close to 20 years ago, I'd say the biggest competitor for CD Projekt was the Piracy.
Really bad echo on this. The last thing I do for this is fix this fucking echo.
That was like the biggest thing in Poland. I mean,
I did have a post-process on it at one stage, but it kind of worked, but I need to do a better job. I tore it all out, so I'll try again. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this section for the moment. I'm going to come back to that later. I kind of want to get this whole section finished now, to be honest. I don't have any music for this either. But
Job for the product team is pulling out whatever DRM may have been included in the original game. For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication software built into the code of the game. But DRM existed before games were even connected to the internet. This was often in...
You can even hear the echo. There's still echo here. I soundproof all my recording stuff, but you can still... This room is so big, you can still get an echo.
form of CD keys, code wheels,
But when there's music, you don't hear the echo.
or even just by asking you to type in a particular word in the user manual.
Actually, I have some footage of this. So basically what I'm trying to do now is match footage to gameplay. You can't, like, I spend a lot of time recording a lot of gameplay and then finding a home for it, and recording B-roll and then finding a home for it. You can't, for us to like edit this stuff to get it out on time and get it out quickly, or for me to do it, I guess. I use the Royal We a lot, but I guess when it comes to editing, it is basically me. For me doing this stuff, I guess I spend a lot of time just going blap blap blap. You fit there, you fit there, you fit there, you fit there. Like generally organizing stuff, and then when I'm in like the sort of tweaking phase, that's when I'm like saying, this subtlety works here, this subtlety works here. So I have a bunch of like just random shit that I recorded of using GOG. And if I'm right, this is actually the file. If I'm right, this one here is Alien Breed. Alien Breed has some DRM in the front of it, has this thing. So that is going to be this B-roll.
To the internet. This was often in the form...
Oh, the shadow play thing is there. That's annoying. Okay, so how does this come in? So this is about DRM, and obviously it's about code wheels and manuals.
Often in the form...
The manual, the old school type of DRM stuff. So let's see how we can transition this to make it look fun.
or even connected to the internet.
Okay, so it's already scaled up to the size of the frame, but it's kind of ugly looking there. So let's bring it down a bit. We'll sit it in a little bit, and then we'll sort of artificially make this look.
To the internet. This was often in the form of CD keys.
So where's the cut? Cut's here. So we'll cut that, bring it back to normal, and we'll blow it up and bring it into the middle.
This was often in the form of...
Okay, just gotta fix that cut there. Where is it? There we go.
was often in the...
Oh, it's on this end. Okay.
The internet. This was often in the...
What's it look like before that, actually? What's there?
Or games were even... Games were even connected to the...
Does it look interesting or not?
But DRM existed before games
No, I don't use DOSBox.
were even connected to the internet. This was often in the form of CD keys, code...
Okay, this is probably not going to be interesting enough to keep this. What is this? 30? It's like an 8-second clip. I did put a code into this, but because GOG rips out DRM, you can basically put any code you want into it and it works.
The internet. This was often in the form of CD keys, code wheels, or even just by asking you to type in a...
Yeah, I might do that earlier.
Or even just by asking you to type in a particular word. In a particular...
Oh, cuts. Okay, so I can't transition out of this. Alright, I might have to do it here.
Keys, code wheels, or even just by asking you to type in a particular word in the user manual. Particular word in the user manual.
So when that cuts to black, I don't want it to cut into this, because that's ugly. So let's pull that back and we'll put a dissolve here. Could use a fade to black here, but maybe not in this
There are
section.
different forms of...
That's good.
There
I don't need the sound of him clearing his fucking throat, though. I don't know why I have that in there.
There are different forms of the...
Let's keep the audio without the sound.
There are different forms...
That's better. So here it was like...
There are...
You can still hear that little weird noise. But we don't want it also to cut in like really just like directly on his voice.
There are different.
So a little bit of a ramp on that will make it go.
There are different.
It's kind of sounds a bit better. If anyone knows any other way of like grabbing all the footage before a certain marker like that, please let me know, because I'm sick of zooming out and having to do it that way. Let's hear what the transition sounds like.
Particular word in the user manual.
There are different forms of DRM.
Yeah, that's alright. I don't like the cut though. I feel like this. The most annoying part is that it cuts the minute you type in the third letter. It goes. The game starts, which actually just looks bad. So what I could do is put a frame hold there. So if we do that, and I'll retain this. So it actually just cuts to black. So what I'll do is I'll just do that. And we'll add a frame hold. And what that does is it keeps it there. Now ultimately, the best thing we could do is if we could get a frame of this and a frame of the line editing, opening and closing. Because it probably looks weird. Probably looks like it
in the
freezes
user
here.
manual.
Yeah, so, alright. This is probably going to be super stupid and like, we don't need to do this, but okay, just for fun, we're going to do this. There's two ways I could do it. I could crop out that piece of, oops. I could crop out that piece of character that appears there, or I could just get a black video here, layer it over it, and just chop it up and try and match the frame rate. This is so stupid. Okay, we're gonna crop the hell out of this piece of black footage. So this black footage is basically just a black, like if I put it over this, just cuts
Forms of the.
oops, actually let's do it here.
We are.
It's just a black, it's just black. Gets in the way. So what I'm gonna use is I'm gonna use this little black thing to basically cover up this little underscore thing that's happening here.
In the user
it twitches
manual.
there, but then when I do the frame hold, it just stays. So it's not good enough. Not for no clip.
Manual.
So here we go. So we're gonna crop it. It's hard to crop things when they're black, because you can't see when they're black and you're editing on black. It's like, it's just kind of doesn't particularly help. Where's my effects panel? That's not it. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Oh, you know what? Actually, to crop this, I'm going to put it over. I'm going to put it over. Oh, did I just put it on that? Oh, did you? Here. That's my guy. Yeah. I'm going to put it over here just for a second, just so I can properly crop it and then figure out how to put it. So let's go left. Let's go top. Let's go right. How big is this character? It's tiny, right? So it's like that big or something. Okay, so let me try to see if I can figure out where it goes. Can I see it there? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, that covers it now. So now all we have to do is figure out what the frame rate is. So I'm just gonna, for fun, I'm just gonna do it every, I think it's a quarter frame. Is that what the default is? We'll just do that and we'll go and then we'll try and even them out a bit. Let's see if that works.
Manual.
Oh, it's too fast. It's too fast. Okay, you can barely see
Manual.
it appearing and disappearing. Okay, so let's double the length of these and delete every second one. How about that?
Manual. Manual.
I'd argue that's almost too fast again. Yeah, okay. So let's triple the length of them. Actually, it's quad the length of them, and we'll use them less often.
Manual. 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 Manual.
That might be it. This is really dumb. Is that the same length? It's not. Okay. Let me just do it that way.
Manual.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
A word in the user manual.
There are different forms.
It's still too fast. It's still slightly. You can see it's like a hair
User
faster.
A
when it's
word in the user manual.
So let's clean that up again one more time. We'll extend them twice.
In the user manual.
Still faster. What's going on? I'll do it again. We'll just do that and see how that looks.
Manual.
Yeah, that was it. Okay.
Just by asking you to type in a particular word in the user manual.
Actually, what I could probably do. When should I cut it? Maybe. Oh, that's weird. Actually, I don't have it equal, but it looks right. So maybe the dots are longer than the not showing.
User manual.
Yeah, manual.
User manual.
There-
User manual.
There
Yeah, all right, that works. A grab forward, shift and A flips it. Thank you, Brant. Oh, so I use Final Cut keyboard shortcuts, by the way. So what are you using for A? Is for grab? You mean just the selection tool? Because then that is the same, yeah. A is a tool to grab forward, shift and A flips it. Grab forward. I mean, I know it's a... What I'm doing here is... Yeah, I'm just doing that. Alright, sorry. If you know what I'm saying and have a reply, put it in there. That'd be rad. Thank you. Thanks for the help.
In the original game. For more modern games,
Oh, this is great. I'm going to learn how to edit from Brant off this.
this is often some sort of online
He knows what he does. You should check out his shit.
authentication software built into the code of the game. But the original game. For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication.
So I need some Steam footage there to do that. Do that bit there. And then
Games
this.
were even connected to the internet. This was often
So I could just use any footage for here.
a game. But DRM existed before games were even connected to the internet. This was often in the form of CD keys, code.
I should get some CD key footage here as well. Alright, so let me open up my notes, my B-roll notes. You can't see it, but let me pull it over here. I've got some doc stuff here. A lot of these games are ones I've already collected. Here's some other B-roll I need to get. I do need Wikipedia and Wopey Games. I have the marching B-roll. I have DOSBox. What I still need, I'm going to delete this shit. I already have that. And I already have all of those, but I'm actually going to keep the notes just in case. Okay, so I need, what was it? I need Steam or some sort of DRM footage CD key. Quake 3 has a CD key intro. I use Quake 3 a lot on gameplay though, so I try and stay away from games I use all the time if I can help it.
For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication.
Online authentication. What could I use for that? Fortnite? No, because that's free to play. What's an online game? I guess I do log into the Unreal launcher or something. But then if I already have Unreal Tournament in here as well, so I don't need to overuse that. I could open Uplay. That might do it. I could probably record that now. Here, let's do that. Let's. I'm gonna hit Shadowplay, so it's recording my desktop. I'm gonna open Uplay. Do I have Uplay? I don't have Uplay installed. Jesus. Okay, let's install Uplay. I guess. Why am I installing? This is the shit I have to go to I suffer for you people. The pain of installing Uplay. Where is it? Here it is. Sure. My C drive's tiny. I don't know why I have that there. But why not? Run Uplay. Go on. Okay, this is gonna be a funny little thing. It's gonna be I hate. Okay, now we need to do this properly. I hate Uplay at videogames.com, and then it'll just, the footage will be remember me, and then we'll click away when it does that, and that's the footage. So once we've done that, let me bring over our I got my GOG folder here. Here's my folder. Here is my Shadowplay stuff is here, I think. Desktop, that was probably it, I'm guessing. Yeah, I can see it on the other page. So we're gonna go to, this is all my stuff. I've got my credits, FX, gameplay, some filming we did at GOG, some stuff they sent us. Here's the YouTube downloads and reuse footage from games that we can't get. No One Lives Forever, for instance. Music, voiceover, it's all different things. So here's my bin for gameplay. I usually order these, but there's so little gameplay stuff here, so that I'm just gonna do that. And then once I've done that, I'll drag my Uplay friend into this. And then we'll open it up. You all saw this already, so we'll go dip. It'll be a funny little. Some Reddit screenshots will be about this one. And we'll leave it maybe there. I'll just center frame it. No need for rulers. I'll just do that.
To the code of the game. But DRM existed before.
Okay, so online
game. For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication software built into the.
Okay, I took too long in between typing that out
Online authentication
to putting the password in, so let me just chop that and see if it works.
software game. For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication software built into the code of the game. But DRM.
It's almost there too long. I probably wouldn't put a piece of footage
for more
there that long, but it's kind of funny. like there's a part earlier in the doc as well where they're really nice about Ubisoft. So I find that this is, and they talk about how DRM friendly they are, or back then, and then later in the doc we talk about how everyone's scared of DRM again. So I think this actually kind of works if we just let it sit there.
In the original game. For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication.
Why was it vibrating?
Original game. For more modern games, this is often some.
I had the quality into half.
Some sort of online authentication software built into the code of the game.
So I have the window down to half here just to ease off my half quality. So instead of looking like that, nice and clear, it looks like a little bit muddier. You can make it look
may have been
even muddier if you want, but it just kind of takes the load off the processor a bit. So let's have a watch of this and see how it looks. We'll go back a little bit, feel the pace. We don't have music, but you can get an idea.
To DirectX 9. It was painful, it took a lot of time, but the end effect was awesome. The game works, and it works very, very good in all the systems right now.
One key job for the product team is pulling out whatever DRM may have been included in the original game. For more modern games, this is often some sort of online authentication software built into the code of the game. But DRM existed before.
Okay, I like that. But I'm going to get rid of this bad cut here, because one of the things I don't like doing, one of the things that I try and get away from as much as possible, you can use it to your advantage a lot of the times, but sometimes it's the opposite of helpful, is having your audio and your video like Lego blocks that sticks together. It's a very YouTuber thing to do. It's good for fast editing. It's like shooting. It's like shooting center frame so you can edit faster. Like Mad Max is a good example. Like that whole movie is shot like center frame. Like everything happens right here in the middle because they edit. Because they watch the trailer and you'll see. Like your eye line never has to go anywhere. So because they know you're looking straight down, they go boom, 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 boom. So you can everything stylistically has a point where it's really good to use and an area where it's not good to use. So if you're trying to tell a point, like for instance, the intro part to here. The intro section is quite direct. It's like, here's a point, here's some B-roll, here's a point, here's some B-roll. And then I break, probably at the start it happens a bit more, like here.
Role-playing games. Perhaps we think of a card game, or more often than anything today, a first-person cyberpunk adventure. But these are all...
Actually, that's a good example of both ways of doing it. So when I'm talking about CD Projekt and then I'm talking about the games, it goes to games.
Slavic open-world role-playing games. Perhaps we think of a card game.
And then when I'm leaving,
punk adventure. But these are all...
It's very direct. But in the middle, the transition, I don't... Well, I introduce Cyberpunk before I start talking about it.
Card game, or more often than anything today, a first-person cyberpunk.
Whereas you could have done it the opposite way. It could have been... I'm not sure if that Gwen trailer is going to work.
Card game, or more often than anything today, a first-person cyberpunk adventure.
You know what I mean? It could have just been like, ish, ish, ish.
Anything today, a first-person cyberpunk.
But to me, it's more elegant to use the transitions where you're being direct. You're moving from one topic to another. Like clearly, we're moving from a different topic to another, and we're moving from like B-roll to gameplay.
Like open.
So that's a good cut.
World role-playing games. Perhaps we think of a card game, or more often than anything today, a first-person cyberpunk.
But inside of it, you're breaking away from that sort of expectation, and it's all in service of creating just some sort of flow, I guess. Another good example of it is here. Probably you'll see the Lego bricks are not. I see if this was Lego bricked, it would be like that. You'd be like, that's talking there and that's talking there. You see, it's like Lego brick, Lego brick. They're all direct, but there's overflow on everything, and it's just trying to ease the person into the story instead of just being like, here's point A, point B, point C, because it just gets tiresome.
They sold them, and they sold them in one of the most unforgiving markets on the planet. For decades, the media market in...
See what I mean? So, and it's like super... It doesn't work for everything all the time. Obviously, you have to mix up this sort of stuff a lot. But for this moment, this makes sense to me because I'm weaving a sort of tapestry of what this whole thing is about. Some of the conversations about it are siloed, like the whole gameplay bit here. This is like an aside. This is like games like blah, 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 and then we're back to the story. And that's why I have the transitions there as well, because we're like jumping from this
games, perhaps
world into gameplay.
we think of a card game, or more often than anything today, punk adventure. But these are all the...
And then out again. And you'll see that there's no effects up until this point here, which is the old footage. So have a listen about how this is all look how this is all broken down with the footage here. Like, it's not Lego bricked. This audio here, none of it matches up anywhere with the video.
94. You see, years before CDP started to make games, they sold them, and they sold them in one of the most unforgiving markets on
J cuts and L cuts. See, Brant, have you been to film school?
the planet. For decades, the media market in communist Poland was dominated by piracy. In a country with no copyright law to speak of, where people had little money, open-air markets were the most common way to get music, movies, or games.
And I didn't do a transition on this end for some reason.
Of the price. So when the
I think it's because I just wanted it to look nice. It just felt nicer.
price. So when the
Whew, J cuts and L cuts. Is that what they're called? This is great. I'm gonna learn loads about this shit from Brand. I'm like self-taught. I don't know any of this film theory shit. So take anything that I say with a massive pinch of salt. Actually, I'm 100% self-taught. Oh yes, cool. Luckily, I worked a way into a production job pretty early on. Yeah, because I worked with some people who worked in TV and stuff, like Johnny Chiodini. I'm not sure if he went to editing school though. I know Seb did, but he was more technical over in the UK. But largely, people on the video teams in the games world were like gamer people who learned video afterwards, which I guess is probably similar to you as well, Brad. Alex says, admittedly, I don't really ever use them. I guess I only rarely feel like there's a reason to do so. What were you referring to? So very useful to see somebody else use them almost exclusively and how that can work. Are you talking about those types of cuts? Because I use them, I'm basically just thinking about this section here.
built into the code of the game. But DRM exists.
Especially because that audio transition's awful there.
But
Probably give it a bit of space. That's a bad. It's too direct.
But DRM exists.
A bit more space.
The code of the game. But DRM exists.
I'd almost use this cut almost doesn't feel good in any way that I'd almost use some sort of one of our little transition friends here. I don't like that one at all. It just doesn't seem to work. I need a DOSy one. I need something that's quite like CRT like. Maybe that one. Something a bit more monochrome. Yeah, this guy. I use this guy in the Fallout dock a lot, so I've not used it at all in this one. In fact, these were all bought to work on the Fallout one, so I've not used a lot of them. Am I in the wrong? No. Why aren't you dropping out of opacity? If I'm screening you, shouldn't you? Oh yeah, I guess it's just hard to see black on black.
But DRM exists.
Yeah, that'll be better. Okay, I have to get some footage of a code wheel or something, so I'm going to put that in my notes. I need a code wheel from, was it Monkey Island had one? Yeah, at a certain stage, you just gotta go to YouTube if you can help it. I try to use as little footage as I can, and then we credit everyone in the credits. I don't go so far as to put their lower thirds up on the screen. It just breaks it for me. And I feel like we use so little footage and we credit them. It's like, it's fair. We never use their audio if they're speaking or anything. And if we do that, I actually ask for permission. Anytime we actually use people's voices and stuff. But if it's just pure gameplay, then we just...
In the user manual.
There are
Same way I don't care if people use this footage for their own shit.
each one differently. When we get the build
I
from
don't like that transition, actually, it's a bit ugly.
one different,
Alright, let's have a listen to this. Asking you to type in a particular word in the user manual.
there are different forms of DRM. We are dealing with each one differently. When we get
You're one of those Alex is one of those Lego YouTubers. It works. Like, it works for certain videos. Like, I feel like in a video that's like those short punchy ones, like anything that's like under 10 minutes, you can be pretty like direct like that all the time. It's like fucking flew my eye. Like, there's loads of scenarios in which that stuff is the best way of doing it, in fact. I just need to be a bit more flowy when it comes to like a lot of, especially the start of videos, a lot of just getting people to settle in. Like, you're trying to grab their attention but also settle them in. So that's why I spend a lot of time on the top of the video. Once you've got someone for 5 minutes, the data will tell you they're way more likely just to put up with your shit.
There are different forms of DRM. We are dealing with each one differently. When we get the build from the developer,
There's a bad audio cut there.
when
Clips a bit. Let's see if we can.
when we get the build from the developer, that when we are dealing with each one differently. When we get the build
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that until the music's in.
from the developer that is not DRM free, it happens from time to time. We usually ask for the developer for a DRM free build. Say, hey, there is still something left here because our QA found it. Could you please? But a lot of times we don't have time. Right. So
I say right a lot during interviews. I say and yeah and especially in foreign language videos. Interviews, a lot of it is to keep people engaged and awake and up. I try and say it as low as possible, so when we put the music in, people can't hear it. Sometimes I up my, this is my audio track here in case it's not obvious enough.
here because our QA, but a lot of time.
So if there's a time where it makes sense, I'll go in now and just flick it on.
Times we don't have time.
Right. But I don't need it for this.
So we have
I'm trying to wean myself off it, but it's part of the whole getting people to open up thing, but I definitely say too much.
a team that is able to do it. So then we are just informing.
I don't need this.
So
Let's trim that off.
that is able to do it. So then we are just.
No, it's too direct.
So then we are just.
There's certain letters where you need the silence before it because people load up certain letters, like S sounds are very so there's like a bit of a stutter right before, there's a bit of a noise right before you sort of engage with the main part of it. So with S sounds you can't come in pretty hard, you need that silence in front of it.
To do it. So then we are just informing.
Barely have it there. Let me see if I can, because he goes which kind of fucks it up. All right, let me again. Sounds better. I'll wait till I have the music in before I master that or tweak that anymore.
That is able to do it. So then we are just informing developers. So yeah, we got the build.
Cock your head slightly and mouth right or okay, and you produce a similar response. I'm mic'd up during this whole thing as well, so go right. I do a lot of head movements and like hand movement and stuff just to get people. Because if people mirror what you do, so if I open my eyes up as wide as I can and I smile a lot and I'm very good with my hands or very active with my hands, because then people respond the same way. So this is how we end up getting, for instance, Hugo Martin to be a bit more playful than he was in like all the other interviews I did with him before we did that.
That is able to do it. So then we are just informing developers. So yeah, we got the build. That there was a part of the DRM here. We removed it by doing this, this, and that. And yeah, if you are fine with that.
Let's get rid of that quick saving, Jesus.
And yeah, if you are fine with that, just a lot of time.
There's a dip there. I'll wait for the audio again. Music to
just
another right.
And a lot of times this is just yeah, go ahead, it's fine.
I remember like there's a lot of games that came out in the 90s that used like physical forms of DRM.
Okay, I need Monkey Island for that. Actually, Carmageddon didn't have physical forms of DRM. Worms 1 did. Worms 1 and Monkey Island. I'm gonna take down my notes. Worms 1 used a. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. go. Worms 1's codebook was printed on black paper. You had to shine it up to a light to see it. And the idea was people couldn't photocopy them because people used to photocopy codebooks and manuals all the time. So I'll use Worms footage and then Monkey Island footage, but I'll wait till I don't want to open DOSBox games while I'm streaming because I'm sure everything will fucking crash.
Very popular. So just put a world, the second world.
Theme Park had a wheel? On what system? It didn't on Amiga. I already have a lot of Theme Park footage in here, but I could totally do that. Let me know what version. I might actually do that if I can't get the other ones. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Very popular. So just put a world, the second word from the 28th page there. You know, that was the common DRM thing by there. You were removing it from the game.
Amiga 1200. Really? I guess I had a cracked version of it or something. They must have pulled it out.
In most cases, some had
1200 on her, huh? Big guy over here making that money.
more elaborate.
You're the envy. I had a 600. I still have it on the shelf over there. I used to envy the 1200 people. You had that extra megabyte of RAM.
Ones, like for example, there was a spinning wheel in which you have much specific things in order to get the correct wheel in which you have much.
You said specific twice there.
Specific.
We don't necessarily need him saying there either. Oops.
You have much specific things in.
Oh, we need the S sound there.
Specific.
Oh, he doesn't actually make the S sound.
Specific things in.
Does he?
Specific.
Oh, he does.
Specific.
Interesting way of him, the Polish way of saying it is you go S and then Pacific. There's a gap almost.
Much specific things. Much specific things in order to get the correct.
Sounds dirty, but I'll wait for the audio.
Like
again.
for example,
music.
there's a spinning wheel in which you have much specific things in order to get the correct answer to put actually in the game, and it was so cleverly tied to the game that we actually left that in, because it was not just a question out of nowhere. That was actually the part of the game.
So for that, I'm thinking I might use the intro to Prince of Persia 2. But I'm not sure if it's actually on GOG, so let me check. Prince of Persia 2, it's not. Prince of Persia 2 had a, at the end of the first level, you had to walk over tablets that were in quicksand, and the tablets had letters on them that corresponded to a page in the manual. And that was one of the best like in-game DRM things I've ever seen. It would really work for this, but they don't actually sell it, which sucks. Your neighbor had a 2000. That's class warfare there. And all the Amiga 500 people looked up to me. Or the 500 plus people or whatever.
Yeah, we are fixing those games. We are making sure that they work and that they are available for the future generation. We are gathering all the goodies that are associated with those games. Scanning all the manuals and all the language versions or the design documents we can find, and we're basically really preserving it.
Do you have someone here who just scans manuals into PDFs? Or
So for this section, I'm going to put in a lot of GOG B-roll, which I will record maybe right now. Let me see. I'll open God Galaxy and I'll start looking through. So what was he talking about? He was talking about...
Yeah, we are fixing those games. We are making sure that they work and that they are available for the future generation. We are gathering all the goodies that are associated with those games. Scanning all the manuals and all the language versions or the design documents we can find, and we're basically really preserving it.
Okay, so I need to record a bunch of stuff of goodies and things like that. So where are the goodies? Manual. Okay, let me just start recording here. So I'm going to start recording. And then just kind of look through some of this stuff. I hate the fucking thing that pops up there. So we'll go manual. Okay, that's good. Let me blow up this manual a bit.
actually. Let's hope there's cooler manual stuff. Is there pictures? If there's pictures, that'd be rad. Right, here we go. Perfect. That might be some. Oh, get rid of that toolbar. Here we go. So I'll scroll down from here and land on this. Oh no, overshot it. Scroll down here and land on that. And that'll be a good piece of B-roll too. Okay. What other goodies we have here? We want goodies. What games do people like? What games would they care about? Shadows of the Empire. Actually, I think this is the one he talked about a lot of extra stuff in there. Oh, read me. That's funny. Oh yeah, let's see if we can do the rollbacks. Some of these have rollbacks on them. Actually, the new games probably mostly only have rollbacks on them because they don't have the patches. Live backup and goodies. Here we go. Oh, that's a game backup. Shit. Cancel that. Cancel that. Let's see what other goodies are. Goodies. Manual. Avatar. Oh, it's just for this thing. The manual. Okay. Let's find a game with good... I guess I'll do that to keep the word goodies. We'll have footage of the goodies. Ooh, soundtrack. Okay. Artworks. Where did they go? Does it just open? Oh no. Oh, it does, yeah. Jesus. Alright. Here's some JPEGs. Can I flick through them at all? Oh, they're all opening on the other screen. Oh, they're not. No, they're here. Here's some artwork. Cool. Alright. That'll look like okay B-roll. What's the sound? Is the soundtrack just... This is going to open as a download again. Oh, here we go. Soundtrack, Avatar. The soundtrack for Cannon Fodder's on here? That's rad. Oh, Lion King probably has some fun goodies. Ooh, commemorative 16-bit poster art. That sounds cool. Oh my god, that looks like garbage. Okay, thanks for that. What else? Did we check theme park already? Nothing. Eye of the Beholder. Come on, you should have some good shit. Yeah. Clue book. Fucking A. That's exactly what we needed. Oh, it's a PDF of the whole clue book. Oh my god, this is rad. This is very cool. Oh, fuck off. Stupid pop-ups. Can we F11 this? Yeah, just full screen that shit and then just look through it. Okay, let's find some good pages. Here's some good shit. Look at this. Okay, let's scroll through some of this stuff. This is some good shit. Alright, one or two more things maybe. Did I check SWAT 4 yet? Wallpaper. Sure. Let's check out a wallpaper. SWAT 4. That's rad. I want to see what the manual looks like for SWAT 4. Is this a PDF as well? Okay, we'll zoom in a bit on this guy. Oh shit, I need to set that thing to don't show again. I've done too much scrolling. I'm just gonna like set one of these on, do a Ken Burns push in on it. All right, that should do nicely. Let's get that footage. Pop you out. Put you there. So I think about how hard it was to record gameplay and stuff like this in the past. How
maddening it was. How capture cards were so terrible and it took forever. You had to like match resolutions and frame rates, and now it's just easy as like Shadowplay is genuinely really good at doing this stuff. So, all right, this is good stuff. So let's see.
Used like physical forms of DRM.
Yeah, the code books are
I could almost use one of these as a code book as well. What was the game that asked me? It was Alien Breed asked me. I wonder if Alien Breed's code book is on this. Fucking is. Alright, we're recording this as well. We are recording this as well. SWAT 4 is a great game, Mr. Buttersocks. 256 megs for SWAT 4, is it really? These games have to fit on CDs. But you could fit 3 of those on a CD, so I don't know. Don't ask again. Here we go. Oh, this is great. This opens this way. That's even better. That was it. It's fucking 3 pages. If I want any longer shots of that, I can always just do a frame hold. Boink. And let that guy conform. All right. Let's see how this looks. I'm not sure what the transition from black to white's going to look like, but we'll see.
90s that used like physical forms of DRM.
Where did I put that? Where was the code book stuff? It was back here, is it? Game. But DRM existed before games were even connected to the internet. This was often in the form of CD keys, code wheels, or even just by asking you to type. Could you can get away with doing it this way.
The internet. This was often in the form of
Oh, I wonder if that's gonna sit there.
the internet. This was often in the form of CD keys, code wheels, or even just by asking you to type in a particular word in the user manual.
there are different forms of DRM.
To the internet. This was often in the form connected to the internet.
Do that. Where does the cut happen?
This was often positive.
It was there. So this could almost just be a frame hold.
To the internet. Connected to the internet.
I'm gonna push in a little bit on this guy.
This was often in the form of this.
Let's see how this looks.
Connected to the internet. This was often in the form of.
Actually, let's wait until it's halfway through.
Was often in the form.
Is it too fast if I do it that way?
Was often.
Oh yeah, it's a frame hold now. Fuck. Okay, let's meet them together. We'll go 150 on you.
This was often in the form of. Often in.
Let's cut it faster than that.
This was often in the form of.
Yeah, that works.
This was often in the form of CD keys, code wheels, or even just by asking CD keys, code wheels, or even just by asking you to type in a particular wheels, or even games were even connected to the internet.
Let's bring this down a bit. Alien Breed's so good. The music I had at the top of the stream, if you were in earlier, was Alien Breed 2. I love that game.
Connected to the internet. This was often in the form of CD keys, code wheels, or even just by asking you to type in a particular word in the user manual.
There are different forms of DRM.
Cool. I'm happy with that. I got some other stuff I can use here.
Like
M-like, do I really say that?
physical forms of DRM. Like physical forms. Games that came out in the 90s that used like physical forms.
Yeah, okay, that's better. Oops, I'm dragging it away from its videos. We don't want to do that.
That used like physical forms of DRM.
Yeah, the code books are they're very popular. So just put a word, the second word.
He stutters a lot there, so I kind of need to keep all that in there. I don't like overly trimming either. I kind of like a bit of dirtiness going on there. Alright, let's I could almost get away with using this code wheel stuff, like this as code wheel footage.
Used like physical forms of DRM.
Yeah, the code books are they're very popular. So just they're very popular.
There's many situations where I could use this and it's not a code book, but it would work for the sake of telling this story.
Used like physical forms of DRM.
Yeah, the code books are.
I'd almost put something else in here as well, just so I'm not fixating on that too much. Like if I had physical forms of DRM.
Like physical forms of DRM.
No, I should use the wheel for that. Let me see.
The game. Yeah, we are fixing those games. We are making sure that they work and that they are available for the future.
Okay, let me not do that for the moment, but at least it's something I can fall back on if I want. So we'll use this guy. I've not used much footage of GOG yet, so I'm just gonna use a bunch of this and see how it looks.
Yeah, we are fixing.
It's a rough cut or a fast cut.
Part of the game. Yeah, we are fixing those games. We are making sure that they work. And they are available for the future generation. We are gathering all the goodies that are associated with those games, scanning all the manuals and all the goodies that are
happens. We can do a little push out
associated with those games.
So when he clicks on that,
Goodies that are associated with.
No, we need goodies. I need footage of goodies for this bit. This thing. When I was clicking on all these images and they were appearing, that was nice here. This guy. Like that, yeah, that was good. Let's see.
We are gathering all the goodies.
Push in so it doesn't show my desktop because we don't necessarily need that.
We are gathering all the goodies that are associated with those games.
I'm gonna push over here maybe.
We are gathering all the goodies that are associated with those games, scanning all the manuals and all the language versions or the design documents we can find, and we're basically truly preserving it.
Okay, that's good. And we'll use something else here. What else did I find that was good? Oh, the SWAT manual. That was a fun one. Actually, that might be better for manual, and this might be better for design documents. Let me see.
Scanning all the manuals and all the language versions or the design documents we can find, and we're basically truly documents we can find, and we're basic documents we can.
Let me zoom in a bit on this. I don't care if it's not readable necessarily, as long as it looks like
scanning all the manuals and all the language versions or the design documents.
That's too busy. So when did I rest it on guns eventually?
Language versions on the design documents we can find, and we're basically truly versions on the design.
I don't want to scroll up and then down.
Language versions on the design documents.
I like that bit where it scrolls down.
Versions on the
Need it without the upswing though.
On the design.
Let's see if that works.
Scanning all the manuals and all the language versions on the design documents we can find, and we're basically truly preserving it.
Do you have someone here who just scans manuals into PDFs? Or
That's actually funny if I just retain that. Let me see.
On the design documents we can find, and we're basically truly preserving it.
Do you have someone here who just scans manuals into PDF?
That needs to be higher.
Do you have someone here who just scans manuals into PDFs? Or
this is always the task.
His answer for this was like 40 seconds long, so I had to trim it, but it still sounds kind of weird. Let me see if I can get another manual here. Yeah, the Syndicate one will be good. Because if we can retain that the whole way, then that's a good look. And then I'll probably dip to black. I feel like there's a dip to black happening here. And we can watch the whole thing and see how it works.
Do you have someone here who just scans manuals into PDFs? Or So we'll go 140 on this, and we'll cut it here because this is a really good. This is a very Syndicate, famous Syndicate screenshot.
Manuals into PDFs or
This is always
So you to match it because remember I did this scroll a couple of times to get
scans, manuals into PDFs or
if I can do it where it lands on that.
manuals into P.
Okay, so I can't do that in that one shot, but I can probably get another clip from this of scrolling down the way. If I don't, I can just reverse the footage anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Come on. Okay, yeah, I can do that. All right. Put the same zoom on it.
Manuals into PDFs or
this is always the task of the new guy.
Once the product team had found the codes
Cool.
torn out, I'm happy with that. It's starting to look all right. Always remember to save your project. Let's have a look at some lovely questions. How you doing? Hope you're enjoying the stream. If you have any questions, put them all in there. I'm gonna get a drink of water in a second. I forget whenever I talk, my mouth goes crazy dry. I believe it was an instruction booklet here in Australia too. Which one was this? Oh, that's a 2016 user manual. Oh, it was. Yeah, sorry, you're right. The 4-page one, the SWAT 4 one. You're right. Or was it SWAT 4? No, what was the other one? What was the game that had the 4-page one? I forget. But you're right. That is a instruction booklet. I forgot about those. At least those booklets, at least instruction booklets in the 90s and earlier, everything is so American now. Even things don't know how to spell properly. You should try moving here. It's a fucking nightmare. Having a child here now. God, what have I done? She's going to spell honor with it without an U for her whole life. When the doc goes live, I'm going to post user manual in the comments. Apologies in advance. That's fine. I'll like it. I'll like it on the NoClip account. That's some complicated Sudoku. Yeah, I will follow suit with that one, Frying Pan. Thank you, Buttersocks. Yeah, this will be the sort of internal. You had to be there editing live stream goodies that we see. Is goodies something say Worms thing when they pick up a crate? Do they say goodies? Maybe they do say goodies. They didn't say much on. I don't know because I had the Amiga version and I didn't really say anything. They had like a couple of things, but not really that many. Will you teach your daughter Gaelic? Ugh. I don't really I don't know enough myself to be able to speak conversationally, really. So I can't. Couple of fuckle here or there. It means a couple of words. The Irish for word is fuckle. So there's your Irish word for the day. I'll do one Irish word every live stream. Fuckle. Once the product team had found the codes, torn out all the DRM, fixed the bugs, scanned all the manuals, and collected all the goodies they could find, the game is finally ready to be released. But each of these games is still part of the product team's responsibility. This team is responsible for ensuring that all the games work on as many operating systems. I have no idea if that's the product team or not. Systems as possible, and that includes new ones.
When Windows 10 came out, we literally launched all of the games we have on GOG to make sure that they work on this system, and if they didn't, we tried to fix them.
Wow.
It took a lot of time.
Alright, let's do some general game B-roll games here. Games that I haven't put in yet. There's a bunch actually, because I recorded a bunch this morning because I knew I was doing this. Oh, that's loud footage. Jesus Christ, Syndicate. What else do we have? I don't want to do Syndicate necessarily because... Oh, Syndicate the only one I did before it crashed. What's this one? Oh, I did Alien Breed. Perfect. Forgot how to open doors in Alien Breed for a hot second. Fucking Alien Breed. So many of the older games don't have the ability for you to get rid of gameplay or music. So I'm not using gameplay for most of this doc because I need a bit of distance. I don't want to have gameplay for some games and not for others sometimes. So I'm just kind of resting a bit on the music. Once I'm done editing, I'll see if it actually works and I might tweak it.
Yeah, but I'm proud to say that we've managed to do it. There's like...
Okay, I need more action to happen. I can't have no action happen during the clip.
Uh,
Or you can't have action happen at the start of the clip. It needs to built. to
Yeah,
something.
but I'm proud to say that we've managed to do it.
That's a good place to cut. What else did I do? I did Theme Hospital, but it actually crashed right as I started doing it, which kind of sucked. So I don't think I played through this, did I? Oh, I could use the Syndicate intro scene maybe, because I did record a bit of that, a couple of frames of that. This is a very famous intro.
There's like small percentages of the game
Weird how both of these ended up getting letterboxed almost the same way on by DOSBox. Let me just do that.
there's like small percentages of the game that doesn't work on Windows 10. However, we did not forget about those games, and eventually I'm sure they will be fixed. And if there will be a Windows 11 or wherever, we'll do the same thing.
This is another place where he cut talking very sharply.
Do the same thing.
Actually, he didn't. I'll take it back. So what I'll do is get rid of some of this audio a little bit. We'll just do a little bit of a tweak there, just to.
Same thing.
Actually, it's not bad. The laugh is kind of
Thanks.
nice. No, I don't like it. So the film dissolve is going to come in to basically signal to you,
Or wherever, we'll do the same thing.
that the outro is coming,
Same thing.
because otherwise it'll be
Same thing.
a little bit sharp.
Same thing.
Alright, see how that looks with music. And then I think this is the 4th section. So let me get a title card for this. I use very painfully rudimentary title cards for this because there's this DOS sort of aesthetic that I'm keeping throughout the whole thing. Those titles are not finalized either. It's going to be the last thing I work on. So it'll probably be there. I'll call it, just for the sake of this, I will put in something. Part 5er. We'll just put in the future now because that's what it is in my head, but that's not going to be what the title is. GOG originally stood for. And what I'm imagining is going to happen here is that the way this keeps going is we're going from black to DOS to black, and then probably ramping in. So let me push that back again. We'll dissolve this guy in. Actually, the film dissolves I'm not mad about. GOG originally stood for Good Old Games, but the initialism has been dropped in recent years as the mission of the service has expanded. In March of 2012, GOG opened their take your Scottish Fivers down here. Doors to new games, focusing on getting DRM-free versions of AAA and indie titles onto their store. Right away, the indies were into it. For many of them, getting their game on GOG was seen as a mark of approval because the service was curated. That means that unlike other digital markets, actually, so I'm going to use this part for here because I was going to use Steam, but I won't. And then what I actually have is a bunch of trailers for let me get this, a bunch of trailers for Papers, Please, This War of Mine, which I want to use. Oh, sorry. Which I want to use to demonstrate the indie thing. I don't use trailers all that much, but I feel like this is probably a good spot. So we got Papers, Please here. Let's see how this looks. Right away, the indies were into it. For many of them, getting their game on GOG was seen as a mark of approval because the service was okay. I'm gonna get rid of this this bit here, this gameplay of seen as a mark of approval. Maybe I'll just cut from that to This War of Mine. Although thematically, I could not have picked two more similar games.
We would do.
Let me see how that works. The indies were into it. For many of them, getting their game on GOG was seen as a mark of approval because the service was curated. That means that unlike other digital marketplaces, each game released on the platform had to be approved by GOG. But convincing major publishers to put AAA titles on a store DRM-free platform had
It's a bit too much of a gap here.
had to be approved by GOG. But convincing
Ooh, you can hear my fridge in the background.
but
That sucks.
because
Sometimes I don't hear it when it turns on. Alright, let's listen to this. See how it looks.
GOG originally stood for Good Old Games, but the initialism has been dropped in recent years as the mission of the service has expanded. In March of 2012, GOG opened their doors to new games, focusing on getting DRM-free versions of AAA and indie titles onto their store. Right away, the indies were into it. For many of them, getting their game on GOG was seen as a mark of approval because the service was curated. That means that unlike other digital marketplaces, each game released on the platform had to be approved by GOG. But convincing major publishers to put
I'm not mad about having 2 upward pan shots in a row.
platform had to be approved by GOG. But convincing major publishers to put AAA titles on a store DRM-free has continued to be difficult.
And I also changed this so the cut happens in the middle.
Seen as a mark of approval because the service was curated. That means that
It's better. Okay. I'm not sure how I felt about these. I'm running out of B-roll, so I might have to just keep it, but we'll see.
continued
That to me feels like an edit that I'll do on one of the last passes where I'm
Bye.
like, it really doesn't work. So I'm happy to leave it there for now. Hey, what's up, Goop Shoe? Welcome. 30 minutes left, yeah. Then I'm gonna have some lunch, but thanks for popping up. This War of Mine ruined me, to be honest. Such a brutally good game. It's a terrific game. It's so sad. I don't think I can play it anymore. It's like so depressing to me. I feel like my mood and media is like so intertwined in a weird way now. I'm just playing games that make me happy, like PUBG. Played a bunch of FIFA 18 yesterday. It's only $22 on PS4 right now, and I didn't buy it earlier this year. I have it on Switch, but I hadn't bought a new FIFA in like 3 years, and I bought every FIFA from like FIFA 08 until FIFA 16, I guess, on everything. But I hadn't bought it on PS4 in forever, so I got it. It's really good. I mean, it's the same game as ever, but they've done some nice updates. The way you gain possession in the new one's way better than it was 3 years ago.
to be difficult.
Let's say they always like release the games with DRMs, for example, right? And if suddenly there's some guys coming saying, "Hey
New
guys,
games.
don't worry, just release it DRM free," right? I mean, surely in your head, like there's some kind of like a warning sign, and what if our game will be pirated? Yeah, and it's very easy to kind of
Okay, this whole section is clearly about new games, so I'm gonna go look at my library and see which new games I already own. And if I don't own enough of them, then I will buy them. I have The Witcher, but that's not going to work because The Witcher... So some of these I bought I already have in my account. Some of them... I've had a GOG account forever. Since back when I ran a website called Citizen Game, we actually had GOG ads. They were the only ads we ever ran on Citizen Game. Because they asked. And we'd put them up for free, and we had a referral code, and probably nobody ever used it, but it was kind of cool. But some of these I bought for when I worked at GameSpot. I did a show called Random Encounter, and a lot of the time it was old games. God, what is up with this? Whatever's in my fucking eye. Sorry. Ugh. Bad Mojo and Blood. There's a bunch of these. Revolt were all like old games I played. So I don't really have that many new games on here. So I've got to figure a way of getting some new games so we can record gameplay from on GOG that aren't super expensive. Best sellers might be a good spot. You know what? I do actually really want Divinity Original Sin too. I want to support my boy Kevin Van Ord. Stardew Valley, Assassin's Creed. Come on, give me something that's like a year or two old that I can get for like 15 to $30. For this stock, this is basically going to be the only like major cost
except for my work hours, which I do budget for, just so I can get a sense of how much every project costs. But we filmed this back in September, and this is kind of like a bonus day we did on our B-roll day. So I can add in Jeremy's rate into that, and even so, it's not even that expensive because we only spent a day on it. Cuphead might be a good shout. No, because it's indie. It needs to be a AAA game. The irony, can't find big AAA games because there's none on it, or people just prefer buying older games. Oh, Into the Breach. God, I love that game. Did that come out this year? Can't remember. See if the chat has any ideas about what I could buy. You are not going to have any time to play Divinity 2, Mr. Dad to be. Giant Frying Pan, I had the exact same conversation with Jeremy Jane over Twitter yesterday, or over text yesterday. He texted me about how he was playing Divinity, and I was like, I'd love to play it. And he was like, yeah, you're not going to be able to play it, mate. It's not happening. SimCity 4 would be a good shout, actually, because it's a... Oh, excuse me. It's an EA joint, right? Because Maxis, yeah. It's already new, though. Or maybe I just use gameplay of new games that aren't on here. Maybe that's what I do. Let's listen to how he's talking about it.
Like release the games with DRMs, for example, right? And if suddenly there's some guys coming saying, "Hey guys, don't worry, just release it DRM free," right? I mean, surely in your head, like there's some kind of like a warning sign, and what if our game will be pirated? Yeah, and it's very easy to kind of get into this like thinking. And if you would to make this kind of a change, let's say suddenly start releasing games DRM free, you probably would need to have some kind of approval from this director, that director. Then there is legals involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no way, just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems. Just I think even if there's one or two guys there.
Echo's really bad in this interview, but we've had worse and fixed it, so should be right.
That we talk to say, yes, we totally understand what you guys are doing, but please understand us. We're working in a very complex company with a ton of different stakeholders. We have to convince a lot of people. So I think from this regard, it's very difficult to turn, do a 180 with a very big ship that's basically for quite a long time sailing in just one direction all the time. Yeah. Plus, just look at the titles. You can say that it's. You can throw at me, like, from the, let's say, the devil's advocate perspective, you can say, look, those 3, 5, 10, whatever, super big franchises, they all had DRM.
This is a bit wordy as well. I'm going to chop this up a bit.
I think, even if there's one or two guys there that we talk to who say, yes, we totally understand what you guys are doing, but please understand us, we're working in a very complex company with a ton of different stakeholders. We have to convince a lot of people. So I think from this regard, it's very difficult to turn, do a...
Yeah, I think I can get rid of that whole bit.
We're working in a very complex company with a ton of different stakeholders. We have to convince a lot of people. You can throw at me, like, from the, let's say, the devil's advocate perspective, you can say, look, those 3, 5, 10, whatever, super big franchises, they all had DRM. Did they sell well? Yes, they did. So why should we ditch it?
Right.
We're trying to make, like slowly, like water erodes the rock, just saying, hey, but look, Witcher 3 launched without DRMs and it sold a lot of copies, right? So you can do it. And they say, maybe. I guess we need more and more cases like that, yeah.
Right. Is it hard? Yes, it got that.
Okay, I'm going to chop that off there.
Yeah.
Maybe bring you in.
Is it hard?
Alright, so that's good. I love Polish people. They speak a lot like Irish people in metaphors. Water erodes the rock. But English isn't their first language, so it's really impressive. Okay, yeah, this feels to me like it's mostly new games. So let me look at games that came out this year, big AAA games. Monster Hunter World. Was there a PC version of that? I guess there was. Monster Hunter World is out on PC. Green Man Gaming sells it. Is it DRM free? Oh, it is DRM free. Oh no, it's not. What is it? Sorry, I'm on Destructoid here. Let's have a look. We get. I can't believe Destructoid is still a thing. I mean, I get. It's a really big site. So it's cool, I guess, but I don't know. I forget. Did their editorial team get weird a couple of years ago? I forget. They do articles on NoClip stuff all the time, which is cool. Steam PC August 9th. This might be a good example of a game that is only coming out on. Is a PC trailer. Okay. Steam pre-order. Oh, is it not out on Steam yet? This might be a good example of a game that didn't make it onto GOG. That's Green Man Gaming. Yep, pre-order. August 9th. Let me get it for now. 4K video downloader is what I use to download YouTube trailers. You just copy it into your thing. You can download the audio as well if you want separately. Remind me later, motherfucker. I don't care. Don't need those anymore. Okay. It could be one. What else we got for 2018 games? Far Cry 5. I'm guessing that's not on GOG. Oh, I take it back. Oh no, it's not. Far Cry 1 is. Obviously, I was part of the early games that were there. Yeah, Far Cry 5 is not, so let's go. Far Cry 5 launch trailer. Let's see if it's good. If it's not gameplay. Yeah, okay, we'll use that. It's good. Okay, God of War, that won't work because that's a PS4 game. Shadow the Tomb Raider. Jurassic World Evolution. I bought that last night for my wife, and she has played like 6 hours of it already. She loves a sim building game, a management game. I didn't realize it was out yet. Oh, The Crew 2. Perfect. So Far Cry and The Crew will be Ubisoft again. So we need something from EA, and we need something from Activision. I mean, the fact that Activision is launching the new Call of Duty on Battle.net is pretty interesting, I guess. 2017 EA games I'm gonna look up. Battlefield, I guess. Battlefield is not reveal trailer, launch trailer. See how it looks. Oh, GameSpot. Don't mind if I do. Yoink. Especially since GameSpot stopped watermarking their trailers, which is a good thing. Don't watermark stuff. We don't watermark anything. You fucking rip whatever you want from us. Trailers. Try and get the official ones if I can, but don't try and break my back over it. Gameplay. Nope. We're gonna go YouTube downloads. Doink. And then we'll pop them in here. So that's some of them. What was the other one? What am I missing? Activision. I don't have EA in here. No, sorry, I have Battlefield, I have EA, I don't have Activision. Call of Duty. God, Activision don't make that many games anymore. It's so hard to figure it out. That's unfortunate they weren't willing to just replay 2 missions with you. Would have liked 30 minutes and you caught up with them. I didn't finish the main campaign. I got 2 missions behind, so I couldn't jump in with my mates or jump in initially. I played by myself for hours to try and catch up. Oh, that sucks. That's Monster Hunter, right? Yeah, I've heard that whole thing. It's kind of weird. Mass Effect Andromeda. I already have an EA one now. But thank you. That's a good idea. If you can think of any other Activision one, that might be a good shout. I guess I could go with Destiny or something, right? Where do you buy Destiny 2 on PC? Battle.net. Okay, perfect. Destiny 2 it is. We have our 4. That'll do nicely. Sure, I'll take your 60 frames a second trailer. Don't mind if I do. will pop you in to there. Cool. So if I type a trailer into the search box, I'll probably get them all. Here we go. Say Steam somewhere. Pre-order now. I don't necessarily want all the crazy fast cutting stuff, so we'll see how this works. Sometimes I put a black background on it just to let me know where I'm going to do the B-roll, if nothing else. The only thing in OCUP watermarks is the high watermark quality bar for documentaries. Thank you. You flatter me. Well, thanks to you folks. All you folks are you guys are basically the top tier of patrons, so I literally could not do this stuff without you guys, so thank you so much. Some of you guys have been with me from the start. That's it. You could buy a console with all the money you guys have chipped into this thing, so thank you so much. You don't even need to compliment yourself.
Coming saying, hey guys,
don't compliment me.
Don't worry, just reach the DRM
Us.
free, right? I mean, surely in your head, like there's some kind of like a warning sign, and what if our game will be pirated, yeah?
This footage maybe is a bit too active. Like something more like this.
Thinking, and you know, if you would to make this kind of a change, let's say suddenly start listing games DRM free.
That was good. That whole section feels good.
And what if our game would head like there's some kind of.
Let's see how much more of this shit there is. Do that, and then maybe go to this.
Surely in your head, like there's some kind of like a warning sign, and what if our game will be pirated, yeah? And it's very easy to kind of, you know, get into.
I think you could probably cut it here, and then go to Battlefield 1. Let's see if I can start it here, maybe.
Easy to kind of, you know, get into this like thinking, and you know, if you would to make this kind of
that's a good transition point there. I'll go there into Far Cry, maybe into Her. That's a good juxtaposition.
Your faith.
Although it's got this 18 Peggy shit on the side, we're gonna have to zoom in to get rid of.
To make this kind of a change, let's say suddenly start listing games DRM free, you probably would need to have some kind of approval from this director, that director, then.
Nah, it doesn't. It's not Far Cry 5 enough.
Promising salvation from the collapse to anyone who
don't necessarily want to have a woman being beaten as a gameplay of a There we go. That's the footage. Somebody going into a church and getting punched in the face. That's Far Cry 5.
Kind of a change. Kind of a change. Games DRM free. You probably would need to make this kind of a change. Let's say suddenly start listing games DRM free. You probably would need to start listing games. DRM free.
Was there a bit of an effect when he hit
start listing games?
Jesus, right in the face.
Start listing games DRM free. You probably would need to have some kind of approval from this director, that director. Then there is legals involved, and
that's funny. This director, that director, and they're cutting between people.
To have some kind of approval from this director, that director. Then there is legals involved.
I like that. What else we got? Destiny.
Second chance.
That's great speech and all, but let's not forget about the whole supernova and complete annihilation thingy.
God, I really don't vibe with the Destiny vibe, but whatever.
Then there is legals involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no way, just don't.
Oh, that's really good. If I go, no, hell, no way, while he's doing that.
Involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no way, just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems. Just.
That's really good. That's really good.
There's legals involved, and the legals will.
Okay, I need to pace this all a bit better because it's actually turning out to be pretty funny. So if I go
to make this kind of a change, let's say suddenly start listing games DRM free, you probably would need to have some kind of approval from this director, that director, approval from this director, that director. Then there. then there is legals involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no way, just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems just involved, and the legals.
I cut this and just bring him in.
Legals will tell you, no, hell.
Because then it's like we're telling this weird story. Let's see what's this shot before.
Make this kind of a change, let's say suddenly start releasing games DRM-free, you probably would need to have some kind of approval from this director, that director, then there is legals involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no way, just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems. Just, I think, even if there's one or two, have a ton of problems.
That's kind of dorky and fun.
Ton of problems. Just, I think, even.
Maybe it'd be more comical if I did like a little bit of a push in, like if we just scale, fuck with the scale a bit and just push it in a little smidge. It might be funnier.
Involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no way, just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems. Just.
That's pretty good. I like this.
Involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no way, just the legals will tell you.
I need to get this in.
Would need to have some kind of approval from this director, that director, then there is legals involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no way, just.
What if you do this?
Involved, and the legals will tell you, no, hell, no, no way, just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems. Just, I think,
All right, maybe over engineering that a little bit, but that was pretty funny to do.
Even if there's one or two guys there.
Alex says, I love serendipitous moments where things fall into place. Yeah, totally. I think that I fixed Destiny too.
Just don't do this, guys. You will just have a ton of problems. Just,
yeah, that's a good point.
just, I think, even if there's one or two guys there that we talk to who say, yes, we totally understand what you guys are doing, but please understand us, we're working in a very complex company with a ton of different stakeholders.
So that's fun to leave a bit of a break, and then we need B-roll to cover up this cut here anyway, so I'll just make
with a ton of different stakeholders, we have to convince a lot of people. You can throw at me, like, from the, let's say, the devil's advocate perspective, you can say, look.
So let me do something here again. What was the game we didn't use? Monster Hunter. Oh, we used them all. Maybe we use a bit more Battlefield. If there's a bit where it says anything about DLC or something, that'd be ideal.
Company with a ton of different stakeholders, we have to convince a lot of people. You can throw at me, like, from the, let's say, the devil's advocate perspective, you can say, look, those 3, 5, 10, from the, let's say, the devil's advocate perspective, you can say, look.
Okay, this definitely needs some sort of effect to pop out of it. Mega 4K glitch pack. I bought these guys off of a asset website for like $30 maybe.
Advocate perspective, you.
I don't like that one. It's not forceful enough. That's 270s. What are you? You're a bit much, maybe. Yeah, actually, it's. What about you? Oh no. Okay, we'll use this guy and see how it works. La 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 la.
Advocate perspective, you can.
No, it can't be that opaque. It looks weird.
Advocate perspective, you can say, look.
Nah, I don't like it. Maybe I'll get rid of it. Don't really use preset audio visual stuff, but maybe if it's
advocate perspective, you can.
No, it still looks shit. Okay. Maybe one of the analog ones after all. One of a tried and tested, like this guy. This little CRT style kind of bounce back.
Advocate perspective, you can say, look.
Yeah, it's subtle. It's probably a bit too subtle. Let's crank it up a bit.
This advocate perspective, you can say, look, those 3.
I'm a little bit reticent to use that one because we used it so much in the Fallout one, but again, I'll probably wait until I watch the whole doc before I start trimming that.
3, 5, 10, whatever super big franchises, they all had DRM. Did they sell well? Yes, they did. So why should we ditch it?
Right.
We're trying to make, like slowly, like water erodes the rock, just saying, hey, but look, Witcher 3 launched without DRMs, and
just drop his audio a bit there.
We ditch it.
Right.
Not that much.
Why should we ditch it?
Right.
We're trying to make, like slowly, like water erodes the rock, just saying, hey, but look, Witcher 3
Water erodes the rock. Love it.
launched without DRMs and it sold a lot of copies, right? So you can do it.
Might stick Witcher in here. Actually, no, I think he brings up the Witcher in the next section. So
Franchises, they all had DRM. Did they sell without DRMs and it sold a lot of copies, right? So you can do it. And they think, maybe. I guess we
this feels like a dip to black, just knowing how he says it.
need more and more cases like that, yeah.
Is it hard? Yes, it got definitely harder.
That works.
But that's why we don't have so many day one AAA releases. Because as I told you, that publishers and developers are still scared of this. And sometimes it's just probably a matter of people getting used to certain approaches in business, and it takes some time to change your approach once you see that it's not impacted.
So I either need new gameplay or I need to use B-roll, and I'm kind of running out of B-roll at this stage. This is games they've already signed, so I could probably use some more trailers. Don't a lot of effects things give you previews of the pack? Yeah, all the stuff that I got was had like a video that was like, this is like, there's like 50 of these and 30 of these, and a lot of it was garbage. Some of it's really good stuff, some of it's I use a bit less, like sound effects libraries and stuff like that. Although there is a sound effect library in here already. And also YouTube has a pretty good open source sound effect library if you want to use that.
People getting used to certain approaches in business, and it takes some time.
Do you still load them into the editing software? These ones I do. I bring them in here. Let me see. I forget the website I used. Let me look it up because I bought it like months ago now. It's when we were doing the Fallout stuff. Oh, it's VideoHive I got it from. Yeah, VideoHive, which is now owned by Envato Market, which is weird because I went to log into it and it was like, oh, you already have an account on Daniel Dwyer email or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And it was, a bird just fell from the fucking tree. What the fuck? Weird. 2 red birds just did a weird thing. It was it logged me in a piece of a plugin for Joomla I bought when I was a web developer in London 9 years ago. Apparently I'd bought on that market as well. But yeah, VideoHive, it's full of shit. Go check it out. They're really good.
Heard of this, and sometimes it's just probably a matter of people getting used to certain approaches in business, and it takes some time to change your approach once you see that it's not impacted. I had a very nice test case with The Witcher 3 that was released on day one, DRM-free on GOG. Nothing happens. The game still sells.
Right, yeah.
I've heard it sells quite well. And I think outsells many games that were released with DRM, even though some IPs were bigger at that time. Still, can we convince everybody with just this example? Unfortunately not. We still have, let's say, fight that is happening all the time, trying to explain, showcase, bring different numbers, graphs, quotes, studies, but it just takes time.
Right.
I really believe that one day we'll manage to break through it, especially with the support of our community, which is very vocal, very vocal, and we appreciate their support.
As GOG took on more... Okay. So The Witcher's definitely getting used here. This is the Game of the Year trailer, which was for GOG only, I think. Yeah, perfect. I was hoping this was here. So this will be perfect for us.
Got the stench of cool.
Let me see how I can get this to work. Okay.
It happens. The game still sells.
Right, yeah.
I've heard it sells quite well. And I think outsells many games that were released with DRM, even though some IPs were bigger at that time.
It's probably enough to do it there, maybe, and then we'll move over.
DRM, even though some IPs were bigger at that time. Still, can we convince...
I don't need the August 30th part. Let's see if we can just transition into this guy. We might have to make our own dip to black, maybe, if this one doesn't work right.
At that time.
No, perfect.
Still, can we convince everybody with just this example? Unfortunately not.
Okay.
Unfortunately not.
I'd like for that to, unfortunately, not to move up
to cut here.
Fortunately not. We still have, let's say, fight.
Don't need the
Unfortunately not. We still have, let's say, fight that is happening. We still have, let's say, fight that is happening all the time, trying to explain, showcase on GOG. Nothing happens. The game still sells.
Right, yeah.
I've heard it sells quite well. And I think outsells many games that were released with DRM, even though some IPs were bigger at that time. Still, can we convince everybody with just this example? Unfortunately not. We still have, let's say, fight that is happening all the time, trying to explain,
and then I think this is just going to be
bring different
him talking
numbers, graphs, quotes, studies, but it just takes time.
Right.
I really believe that one day we'll manage to break through it, especially with the support of our community, which is very vocal, very vocal. And
we appreciate it a lot.
Very vocal, and we appreciate their support.
As GOG took on more new release games, the demands of their audience and publishing partners started to have an effect. GOG. Not sure if I needed transitions here actually, because we do have one other section. We do two other sections. Let me see how this looks.
Their support.
As GOG took on more new release games, the demands of their audience and publishing partners started to have an effect on the product. They realized that developers want to be able to add updates themselves, and that with new games being patched so often nowadays, players wanted to have the ability to auto-update their titles. So they created a new front end, GOG Galaxy. This might be a good opportunity to use footage from a new indie game, such as... what was the name of that game from the FTL guys? Subset? Into the Breach, isn't it? Into the Breach. Let's see if the trailer's any good. I don't usually use that many trailers. This whole part of the doc just feels a bit trailery, so yeah, I think the Into the Breach trailer might work here. At least for a first pass. What do you say? Just checking my emails real quick. I get a lot of I get notifications every time there's a comment on one of our videos, so I basically scan through all those every couple of hours, just quickly just go make sure no one's being a weird misogynist or anything. I mean, people are there's always someone being a weird misogynist somewhere, but as long as they're not on my fucking lawn. Games being patched so often nowadays, players wanted to have the ability to auto-update their titles. So they created a new front end, GOG Galaxy. Being patched so often nowadays, players want... Do I have the Galaxy trailer? I think no, maybe I don't. Another fucking trailer I have to get. There is a trailer for GOG Galaxy, which I thought I had downloaded because we are definitely going to use it somewhere in this documentary, and I guess this is the point. This is the moment. Doodle-doo. Find our YouTube download bin. Stick that in there. How's it like listening to your own voice over and over? It's fine. You get used to it. I've been editing this shit for so long that it's like... Here we go.
I'd like to introduce you.
It's almost a shame we mentioned GOG Galaxy in the earlier thing, but I don't. Maybe I'll probably again wait until I titles do my last pass or last passes before I see if that is appropriate or not. So they created a new front end, GOG Galaxy, which provides one-click installation, access to community features. I might edit this stuff. It sounds a little bit like I'm pitching. I'm pitching a piece of software for them, which provides one-click installation, access to community features. Which provides one-click installation, access to community features. Provides one-click installation, access to community features, all with the same control over the DRM-free installations as before. The work to create this
It feels a little bit promotory.
Sure, if you want to play online, you need to be.
Let me see.
Click install Galaxy, which provides one-click installation, access to community features, all with the same control over the DRM-free installations.
No, I'll use some of the footage we have, perhaps, of God Galaxy. Might be more appropriate. Although this VO isn't a lock either. Oftentimes when I watch the whole doc, I'm like, this is a little bit. This could be better. I didn't mention this. Yada yada yada. I've learned to not try and finish things totally. If you finish things to like 80% of the way there, if it really matters, you'll do that last 20%. You'll put the work in if you really need to fix something. But if you don't, it'll be fine. So the difference being, if you wait until you've done something absolutely perfect, then this might be it. Yeah, this might be good. Then everything will take like so much longer, because that last 20% takes
Galaxy
as much as the first 80.
which provides one-click installation, access to community features.
That was kind of one-click installation right there. I wonder if I already edited a bunch of this, or found a bunch of this stuff in the first GOG video. I wonder if I looked in the community tab and stuff. Oh, I totally did. Okay, this is... Oh yeah, this is totally all that stuff. I guess I actually did capture all this. Perfect. Okay, we'll pull you over.
Which provides one-click installation, access to community. Which provides one-click installation, access to community features, all with the same.
All with the same, and I'll do some goodies stuff or something. What else is there? Here, this shit. Some Ishtar or some Eye of the Beholder stuff. Goodies. I love the way they use the word goodies.
Same control over the DRM-free installations as before. The work to...
God, you can really hear the fridge in that shot. That's crazy.
Same control over the DRM-free installation features.
This image takes too long to load, so I just
all with the same control over the DRM.
Oh, well, fuck that up.
Control over the DRM-free installations as before. The work to create this complex networked software accidentally created an opportunity for GOG and CD Projekt Red to collaborate.
When do you start working on trailers, teasers for the docs? Do you wait until you finish editing the main doc? I usually do it kind of... I'm usually editing that right at the start. In fact, if you have access to this, then you have access to the early access trailer tutorial thing, the production class, where I get into a lot of that. I do the trailers usually pretty early on in the process, because it helps me fill out the story and figure out the visual style. What I often end up doing is using the musical intro, if I've done one, as a template.
2002.
Whereas in this case, it'd be this guy probably. But for the sake of brevity, I'm trying to get as much done as possible before my baby arrives, which could kind of happen any minute. So, well, she's not due for another like 2 weeks, but you never know. So I'm just trying to get this stuff finished and a lot of other stuff finished. Bethesda stuff, production classes. We've a load already. We've got like 4 videos in the kitty, but I want to try and get as many as 8. So I'm not going to do a trailer for this one. In fact, the YouTube community panel that they've added is like really helpful now for getting that community updated, because you guys know, and especially for you folks in this tier, like I'll probably put up like an early access like 5-minute bit from this maybe at some some stage over the next couple of days. So I don't need to do that trailer for this anyway. I feel like this project kind of sits on the edge of whether or not it should get a trailer or not as well. So we're not going to do it for this one.
Like having, they run, 1,000 or so servers.
I have a sudden craving to install Galaxy with one click. Do it. It's pretty good.
Or in GOG, they probably know some stuff about networking, right? We know stuff about developing games, so why don't we really work together? Yeah. So it was kind of like a obvious, match, perfect match made in heaven. I mean, Gwent is a kind of a separate project. I mean, like we have GOG running as GOG, and the team working on Gwent with Secret actually is separate. I guess if this will work well, and so far it works really great. We're very happy with the feedback we get from Gwent and with the numbers of people playing. So.
You said as separate. You didn't say a separate team.
Secret actually a separate team. We don't want, a separate team. We don't.
Can you get away with
It's
that?
actually a separate team. Separate. Actually a separate. Secret actually.
I might get rid of ah. If he says ah here, I might get rid of ah.
Secret actually separate. Secret actually separate. Actually separate. Secret actually separate.
Don't know. Let me see.
Secret actually separate. Secret actually separate.
Might sound worse if I do it that way. Nope. Why is your audio so low? Don't do that.
Secret actually separate. I guess if this will work well, and so far it
Maybe
was
I'm
really
overworrying. I'm not sure.
great. We're very happy with the feedback we get from Gwent and with the numbers of people playing. So I guess we'll be trying to reapply this maybe in the future games. Probably that could be the one way to do it. Definitely to do. And of course the release of games. This is a never-ending chase. The games which were day ones a couple of years ago soon will be classics. No, we're very passionate in the stuff that we're doing. We love games, and our goal is to basically release as many DRM.
Okay, so I need a game that's a couple of years old. I'm gonna add constant gain to here, see if I can ease this transition.
No, we
No, not really. Well, not that long anyway.
classics. No, we're very.
Yeah, that worked. All right, so I need add to my notes. I need 3 to 4 year old game. All right, I'm flagging a little bit here, so I'm gonna call it quits. I'm over my 2 hours.
Passionate in the stuff.
Anyway, but here's the
Terrible effect on the gaming world.
almost there. I got up to the last minute of it, so that's not bad. So I'm pretty happy. We're getting there. By the end of today, I should have music in the rest of the B-roll for this section, and then I'll be able to sip. What I usually do is I render out a version of it, and then I sit down with like a cup of coffee or a can of Diet Coke or something. Although I'm trying not to drink Diet Coke anymore. And watch the whole thing as relaxed as I can. And all your names are right here. Look at them all. Credits Spelunky. That's because I keep using that same template over and over again. Come on, load. It hates loading. It's my PC's spinning up because it's like trying to figure out the credits. I can show you the file for it here. Are you gonna crash? You are gonna crash. It is in this. I just saved a second ago. That's why you always save. Put autosaves on every 5 minutes, folks. It is in this folder, so I don't know why it's churning up at the moment. Any last questions before I log off? I'll try and get this credits to pop up in a hot second. Here we go. See, now we're popping up. There's all your beautiful names. There's certain ones I have to go in and change because your names aren't right. The way you put them on Patreon isn't right, so I have to change them. Like Goob Shoe Riot, I have to stick his name together because it thinks his name is Goob Shoe Riot, so I have to take away the edit there. There's a bunch of stuff here. Additional gameplay sourced from. I actually might as well copy that over right now because I have the list right here. It's probably the most footage we've pulled from YouTube folks in a while. I tried to pull videos that are at least 4 years old, so no one feels like we're taking advantage. We'll stick that in too, and then I'm gonna make sure that it drops out. It doesn't, so I gotta add. This isn't the updated list of names, by the way. I'll do a pass. Usually I do a pass right before I render, so it's like as late in the process as possible in case we had some last minute patrons who are spent $30. I don't want them to not get their name in the doc. And then do that, and that's almost all the way out. Let me do a little bit more. That gets the credit out. There you go. And we'll hit save again, just for shits and giggles.
Best of luck with the family expansion pack. Thanks so much. I'll probably do one of these next week at some stage on a different project. Probably be a Bethesda one or something, or one of the other small little dudes are doing. It might be double click, but accidentally because the mouse in the computer is rubbish. Get a better mouse, man. I actually went and bought a nice mouse for the first time in my entire life about 3 months ago. I was using like crappy little mouses, like $20 mouses. I got a Razer Mamba. And I like it a lot because I can do things like click left and right on it, and I have sort of similar control to. I got really like bratty because I was using the Mac for a while, and that Mac mouse lets you like scroll sideways and stuff, which I love. So this mouse wheel goes left and right, which is really nice. Good work, Danny. You've passed your quarterly work appraisal. Much appreciated. Thank you so much to the 10 or so of you who were in here for the majority. That was actually probably more than I was expecting for the first one of these things, especially because we're doing it at really awkward time. It's like lunchtime in the UK. It's like people are waking up now on the West Coast. But it was certainly fun to do. Yes, thank you so much. There will be more stuff coming from NoClip pretty soon. We have 2 of the production videos already finished. I'm putting together a trailer for that series, which I'll put up first to let people know. And then Jeremy's one will probably be first. And then the one I put up already on early access, which you all have access to, I think might be episode 2 now, because Jeremy's one was so good and it's shorter, and I don't want to start with a really long thing and then turn up with a short one. It just feels weird. So I'm gonna get this done. Get that done. Putting your finishing touch to your anti-Trump placard. Yeah, jeez. He's your problem for a little while. My in-laws live in the other side of DC, so we drive through all the time, so I have to pass that arsehole's house every couple of days. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. I'm going to go get some lunch and relax for a little bit. I hope you have a wonderful day, and if you have any questions at all, of course, put them in the comments below. If you watch this on VOD and you missed and you have any questions, put them in the comments or put them in the DM me on Patreon, any of that good stuff. All right, have a good one. Talk to you there.